Hey YouTube, it's Efruit Eater. It's the 4-year anniversary of when I quit YouTube. So you know what that means? It's time to get out of here again. Just kidding. Anyway, so I wanted to do a little sort of like Q&A kind of story thing about why I quit YouTube and my general experience with YouTube the first time around. I think this story will make sense to a lot of other YouTube content creators, and I think it might shed some light on a dilemma that new creators often experience on YouTube, compared with other platforms like Instagram or TikTok, or even something that isn't really a media platform like Twitter. So I first got started with YouTube back on September 1st, 2016. It's almost 5 years ago. It's kind of hard to believe. I had decided to start doing YouTube because I'd really gotten into it in the last, I'm going to say 3 years before that. I'd watched all of the Angry Video Game Nerd episodes up to that point. I was watching James and Mike Mondays every week. I had started to watch a lot of these retro gaming channels like GameSack, Pat the NES Punk, Metal Jesus Rocks, all these different kind of larger YouTubers. And I was even watching a lot of Pokemon related YouTubers such as Tomohiro, the J-Wits. It was just a lot of different channels I was watching. One of the most significant channels for me was a British YouTuber named Ashens, and I still really enjoy his content a lot. Along with my friend Weird Paul, who has done some similar stuff where they're just taking objects and going, here's this, and it's kind of a weird review about it. These kind of channels really made me want to make sort of like a silly kind of channel. Silly might not be the best word, but something that was just kind of offbeat. So I started out doing a review of a Minions cereal I got at a discount grocery store. Basically, they buy all the products that aren't selling and then they resell them for a low price. I just thought it was weird. I don't have any connection with Minions. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. So I did that, and then a few days later I did the first video where I just talked about things I had purchased, games and Legos and punk records and stuff like that, just stuff I was interested in. And that was kind of the main focus for the channel in my mind. I also started doing a Let's Play of RoboPit. That was kind of the third tier of the channel, was to do these Let's Plays of different games I enjoyed, and I had all these various ideas for it. I did 3 of those Let's Plays. I did a really unsuccessful and, in my opinion, kind of pointless video about the Nintendo Direct from September 1st. And it was also too late. It was like 8 days late. I think I learned my lesson there. Then I continued on. I actually did a review of RoboPit. And then I kept doing more cereal and food reviews from Aldi, from this weird, it was a weird Batman and Superman cereal, same kind of thing as the Minions one. That one was really interesting. Alright, then comes October, and this is where stuff starts getting sort of strange. October started out with me doing a video with my friend Dan, and that was really fun. We talked about LaCroix, as we jokingly called it. And that was a pretty fun video. I wanted to have like different friends on the channel. Again, like Metal Jesus Rocks. And my girlfriend was on a week later, basically. But another thing I wanted to do in October was I wanted to talk about the 31 horror movies I was watching in October. I had started doing that for a few years. And so I thought I had a really good idea. I was going to review the movies in 31 seconds. So it was going to be 31 movies in 31 days and 31 seconds for each movie. I had a timer and all these other things on the video to make it a little more fun. I was trying to upgrade my setup. But anyway, I was doing these videos about horror movies, and I actually got a community guidelines strike. It wasn't for any of the reviews I did, it was actually for the playlist I made. This was a pretty big downer, because at the same time I had started doing videos, live Let's Plays of Fatal Frame. I had done, I think, the first one, and then I was about to do the second one, and I got this community guidelines strike. And I couldn't figure out why. Didn't make any sense. My playlist wasn't violent or threatening or trying to be somebody else or anything like that. So I don't know why it was like that. And basically that whole month I fought with YouTube over why did I have this community guidelines strike. So October was full of more of these 31 in 31 in 31 videos. And I also did some more fun snack food videos. But I didn't get to do the other Fatal Frame videos because I had this strike against me. So I had to just upload them later. Eventually I did get this situation sorted out after emailing YouTube a million times. I don't know how long it took, but it took a while. I want to say it took almost the whole month. Once it got resolved, I uploaded another of the 31 in 31 in 31 videos. And then it got taken down again. The playlist got taken down once more. So it was just a big mess, this whole situation. And it really made me not want to do YouTube in a way, because it just felt like there was no rule for anything and there was no way to get anything sorted out. Once it got straightened out, it felt a little better, so I continued going with the channel. I did videos of takeout in Pittsburgh. I started building Legos on the channel. This stuff really wasn't very successful, and this was a lot of what I did in November and December. Eventually I started talking a little bit about holiday stuff, and that was fun, but I'm not sure that it was really a success. I don't regret doing these things, but there is a way to do something more successfully that's also fun, I think. At the beginning of 2017, I did some videos about the old school miniatures painting challenge for basically a Dungeons and Dragons miniatures group I'm in on Facebook. And I had some fun with that, but I didn't get to finish it. I had a lot of anxiety, and I should mention this is around the same time that I was having a lot of terrible work situations too. This actually started around when the channel started, and it continued throughout the entire original lifespan of my channel. Pretty much I had this coworker who would decide that he was not my boss when it was convenient to him, and other times he would be my boss, and it was this big argument every day. A lot of days I had nothing to do, and when I would try to get something to do, everybody would look at me like I was really strange. My coworker wouldn't give me anything to do, my direct manager wouldn't give me anything to do, and I was often directed to this other individual at the company who often also didn't give me anything to do. And it started this very strange situation where I was being told I needed to find something to do, but there was nothing to do. It was just a terrible place to work, it honestly was. I'm not going to get into really what it is, but it was a very, very, very bad situation, and it still affects me to this day. Anyway, February was just a lot of reviews of stuff I had purchased. I called these videos Trash Heap. This had been ongoing since the beginning, but it never had really been successful. I did do a video about Yakuza reprints on PS2 and PS3, and that was an okay video. March continued along with more snack foods and more videos about various things I had purchased. This also started my review of Samurai Jack Season 5. I thought this would be a really successful sequence on the channel, and it really didn't turn out very well. I think what happened is that my reviews just weren't particularly well done. The review that actually got the most views was a joke review, where I went to review the 4th episode and it wasn't shown for some reason that week, so I just made a jokey video about it. And yeah, that got the most views. I also started doing a Castlevania Let's Play with my friend, Castlevania 4, and we got some copyright claims on there. That series wasn't particularly successful either, with one of those videos, I believe, only getting 1 view. April, I talked about this convention I went to in Pittsburgh, and some other events I'd gone to, but basically, a lot of the time, at this point, I was just talking about stuff I had purchased. May, I started doing some more snack foods, but one was just about like a t-shirt I got, and then I finished up Samurai Jack, and that really was kind of where it all started really falling apart. I just really noticed that the Samurai Jack videos were not getting anything, and that had been most of my output at that time. So I actually had my 100th video on May 30th, 2017. It was impressive to me that I had done that many in a year, at least looking back on it. Anyway, June, I did a few like unboxings. I talked about my first Sega CD game. And then the last video was just about the band The Damned and some other stuff I had purchased. But at that point I was so behind on the stuff I had purchased videos that I was going back 2 months. All the way back to April. And I don't think people really wanted to see that. I don't think people really wanted to just see stuff I had bought anyway. So on June 22nd, 2017, I decided to stop uploading more videos. My work had gotten so bad at this point in time. My work had gotten so bad that it was really affecting my life all the time. I was having trouble sleeping. And I also had been having some issues with my house. And just the channel wasn't successful. So it didn't really feel necessary to keep going. I am happy to have come back. In the years since, I started doing some vaporwave music, which I've been using on the channel. I think I learned a little more about internet promotion, though I'm not really an expert at it at all, still. But I also started connecting with my friend Pory, and we did that deep podcast, Dippy Egg Eater podcast. And we're going to do some more of those coming up. I noticed that Pory and my friend Weird Paul, you're probably familiar with Weird Paul if you're on YouTube. He talks about weird stuff. He's a really great guy. He's a really interesting musician in Pittsburgh here. Both of those individuals wanted me to come back to YouTube, and I really didn't know what to think. I ended up doing it because of the podcast with Pory. And the thing that really cemented it was doing the video about the little postcards for They're Coming, that odd Fortnite promotion. I had also been doing videos in my free time, just simple views of me opening the mail. And it was kind of like a way to get this video thing out of my system. And I kept telling myself, oh, I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And I never really felt that inspired to do so. So it never actually happened. But it was always something I really wanted to do. I will eventually upload some of those videos in the future, because some of them are pretty fun to look at. And I have a really cool one coming up for sure. So something I need to mention before signing off here is that YouTube really needs to work on how they promote different channels and how their search engine works. It just comes off really bad when you upload a video and you get 1,000 views, and then your next video gets 20. Now there are a few different factors here, but you just think that there would be a better way to view new videos that you don't know about. Even just some kind of random queue, even if you selected a topic or something like that. I just think it'd be better. There used to be a greater chance for an unknown channel to get seen, because YouTube used to have the little like hottest new video thing. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but you would just see new videos. Of course, that's before all the YouTube channels, before YouTube really came into its own. Some things I really like about YouTube in that way, because I think it is a really fun experience if you're looking for something akin to TV. The thing that I just really think is bad is when you have friends who you know are doing a great job, you think they're doing a great job, and they're not getting any views, and it really just comes off kind of like a bummer. So I just really hope YouTube gets some stuff straightened out so you get more views, just like Instagram or TikTok. It really seems bad when I put in some kind of hashtag and I get nothing for it, even though I know it's a fairly hot hashtag right now. Oh, finally, I will mention, what is an eFruit Eater? Alright, so eFruit Eater refers to the first edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. You might be saying, what? Well, here's why. The first edition Dungeon Master's Guide for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons has a picture of these heroes fighting an Ifrit on the cover. It's a very epic image. The back shows the city of Brass, and that's a really great one too. It's actually all one image, and I really like that about it. Something I wanted to say with the channel is sort of a self-promo kind of thing. Something to tell myself, you know, there are monsters out there, but we can beat them. It's that classic quote about fairy tales. I also really like alliteration, so that's part of what went in there. Thinking back on it, I used to have a MySpace account that was the Goblin Gobbler. And that was a little more silly in its name. But this has kind of the same sound to it. I realized I really like this phrasing. Of course, I do love Dungeons and Dragons, so that certainly goes into it too. I hope that explains a little bit of why the channel is called E-Freeding. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you learned something about YouTube, and I hope my story was at least interesting to you. Feel free to comment below with your own story about YouTube. Has it been a success for you, or have you felt a little bit sidelined by YouTube's algorithm? So yeah, tell me below how your journey on YouTube has gone. I'm really interested in hearing about that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.